Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like Mr. Erdogan, the president of Turkey, is way ahead of everybody else in doing what he knows to do best, lead. So, as you probably know, he is involved, or Turkey is involved in a little scuffle, even though I would call it much more than a scuffle, with the Kurds, wherever they might be, on the territory of Turkey, on the territory of sovereign Syria or sovereign Iraq, or I don't know, wherever they are. And obviously, maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but the Turks waited for some reason to start this operation of killing Kurds in Syria in this case. They already did a little bit of airstrikes in Syria, mind you, sovereign country, and in northern Iraq, the same sovereign country. And now they're thinking, doing what they did about a few years ago of doing, which is they want to create a 30-kilometer security strip along Syrian border. They said this before, but it seems like, I read a few other articles, the Turks were promised by the Americans and the Russians that they will make sure that they will patrol that area at the border between Syria and Turkey, and make sure there's no Kurds over there. I don't know if there's no Kurds, but nothing will happen over there. You know, it's like a buffer zone. The thing is, Erdogan says, you know what, I will do what Napoleon said. If you want something done well, do it yourself. So he's going to do this, and that runs against the US's and the Russians' desire and plans. But Erdogan is going to challenge that. The Russians tried, and the Syrians tried to discuss with the Turks. It seems like nothing came out of it. The Americans are warning the Turks that, hey, if you're going to invade, this is the next plan expressed by the Ukrainian military, if you're going to invade Syria with ground troops, there's going to be a high risk of killing US personnel. This was Turkey's answer. All right, now that you know their answers, let's move on with this. Talk about this article coming from Al Mayadin. It's from today, the 4th of December 2022. Erdogan says, Turkey to complete 30-kilometer security strip along Syrian border. So that's about 22 miles strip. Now I wonder, security strip, that means no Kurd in that area? You just go and catapult all the Kurds down south, or what are you gonna? Or maybe you find something that your commissars in Soviet Union did in 1941, 42, whatever that was, 39, in Katyn Forest. Turkey will be completing the security strip along the southern border, which is 30 kilometers deep into Syrian territory. Well, Erdogan, speaking at a meeting in southern Sanliurfa province, said that the attacks by namely the Kurdish or Kurdistan Workers' Party, or the PKK, and the YPG, which is the PKK's branch in Syria, will not deter the country from its determined stance on securing its southern border. And I'm quoting, "We will definitely complete the 30-kilometer deep security corridor that we are establishing along our southern borders. Attacks will not dampen our resolve," end quote, he said. Since 2016, Turkey has engaged in 3 anti-terror operations in northern Syria, which have also consequently resulted in the occupation of the region. The operations are Euphrates Shield 2016, Olive Branch 2018, and Peace Spring 2019. What the hell? The PKK is listed as a terrorist organization by Turkey, the European Union, and the US, and it has been responsible for the death of 40,000 civilians, according to Turkey. Now, Erdogan also said that Turkey is committed to destroying PKK. Well, he's using this as, these guys are terrorists, we're going to fight that. The problem is the Americans are there, uninvited, occupying Syrian territory, supposedly fighting the ISIS, and I found out in an article yesterday that actually there are about 10,000 supposedly ISIS, how should I put it, subjects, terrorists, fighters are locked somewhere in Syria under the US supervision. So they are imprisoned. I didn't know that. Now I do, and I share that with you. And now I do, I share that with you. Okay, boo-boo. Let's go and see what's going on here. PKK. Erdogan underlined on Monday that Turkey is committed to destroying the Kurdish Workers' Party, PKK, until its last militant is neutralized. That means eliminated. He further stressed Turkey's determination to establish a 30 kilometers deep, 18.6 mile security strip next to its borders on Syrian soil, claiming that it is something Turkey previously sought to do with US and Russian cooperation on its southern border. So I'm quoting now Mr. Erdogan, "We do not need to get permission from anyone, while taking steps concerning the security of our homeland and our people, and we will not be held accountable to anyone," he stressed. What about that? What if these PKK guys move to the United States, the free world? What are they going to do? Eliminate them on the territory of the United States of America? Possibly. The Turkish president said no one will be able to force Turkey into any position against its own interest in political, diplomatic, economic and military terms, though through what he called empty threats. We do not have to tolerate the hypocrisy of those who support registered terrorist groups with naming change games, he said, adding that it is unacceptable for a number of countries to support PKK militants in northern Syria. Do you know who those are? He also claimed that no side should be disturbed by Ankara's offensives, which are aimed at expanding the circle of security and peace. Peace by war. Remember, peace is war, war is peace. So, what do you think? Isn't Erdogan a loose cannon? Yes, he is. Now, what's going to happen? Nothing. They are going to do what they're going to do. The problem is this. They're going to get in this situation, the Turks. The Americans probably will continue to support their Kurdish party and whatever they have over there. And there will be a proxy war. There might be a proxy war between the United States and Turkey. It's not impossible. But hey, we're going to find out. It seems like Turkey is determined to hit left and right because they really want to get rid of the Kurds. And I think this is the last straw for them. I don't know if they are justified or not. They are listed as terrorist organizations, so there you have it. But we also know that the United States is protecting certain kind of organizations that are, not murky, but some designated as terrorist organizations by some, freedom fighters by others. We'll see how this works. The U.S. warned the Turks crickets. The Russians spoke with the Turks. Nothing. I think the PKK, no, it was the Democratic Forces of Syria. They spoke with the Russians. They spoke with Assad. Hey, help us. The crazy is coming. Well, I think the crazy is going to go all the way. And this case is Mr. Erdogan. Well, you are over there as the president-elect to make sure that you ensure and you protect all of us from the threat of terrorism. And there's too much hanky-panky. And when it's a lot of hanky-panky, you bend your values. I'm talking about the guys who are supporting certain kind of groups that are committing certain kind of actions that would eventually injure and damage other countries' interest. And look at Ukraine. Russia will probably do the same thing, will create the same kind of buffer zone if they're successful. If they're not successful, you're going to have an eternal war, not eternal, continuous war, and or lose. And losing meaning all your leadership will be decapitated, and a weasel will be placed over there, and that means Russia will become basically a slave country, not a vassal, country, a slave country, because it also has to pay a lot of money. These guys already got a check for now of about $500 billion for Russia to reconstruct Ukraine. So my Russian whomever, just think about that. That's for as of now, and that grows, and there's interest as well. So you're gonna work for that. You're gonna work for that, and I wonder how you're gonna feed your children and you live your lives. I don't think so. So maybe you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.